Good morning, students. This is Saraswati KB. In this session of the video, we shall have a glimpse of the social history of 18th century England. The Romantic period was one of major social change in England due to depopulation of the countryside and rapid development of overcrowded industrial cities that took place roughly between 1798 and 1832. The Romantic movement of the 19th century, art and literature was influenced by revolutionary events such as the French and American revolutions. The 18th century Romantic poets were influenced by many outside influences, but chief among them was the revolution occurring in France. Their poetry reflects the social turmoil raging across Europe and their own dreams and worries. The link between the French Revolution and poetry is best shown in the poems of Wordsworth, Shelley, and Coleridge. The Romantic Age came in existence after the French Revolution. It was an industrial revolution. The Romantic Age was a reaction to the revolution. It was an artistic, literary, and intellectual movement. The revolution affected not only France but also England. It had very crucial influence on British intellectual, political, and philosophical life. The Romantic period was a major social change in England. This movement of so many people in England was a result of two forces. The agricultural revolution, which involved enclosures that drove workers and their families off the land, and the industrial revolution, which provided them employment in the factories and mills operated by machines driven by steam power. Romanticism may be seen in part as a reaction to the Industrial Revolution, though it was also a revolt against aristocratic social and political norms of the Age of Enlightenment, as well as a reaction against the scientific rationalization of nature. The French Revolution was an especially important influence on the political thinking of many notable Romantic figures at this time as well. At the end of the 18th century, the country was changing swiftly. There were lots of development changes. Machines were taking the place of men. Agriculture, manufacturing, mining, and transport were changing. Steam power had become a practical reality. It radically improved Britain's core industries, namely the production of textiles, metalwork, and other manufactured goods, and the mining of coal and other raw materials. The result was that there was violent conflict between employers and workers due to the use of machines. Later on, it had taken the form of the French Revolution. The literature of the Romantic Age is considered as the literature of imagination, emotions, feelings, passions, freedom, and expression. It was much related to the nature. It seemed that all the writers and poets were much shocked with the revolution and wanted to feel some peace in mind and in society. They wanted to soothe the mind of affected people. There was unrest and violence everywhere. The Reform Act, or else called the People's Charter, is a British working class movement for parliamentary reform named after the People's Charter, a bill drafted by the London radical William Lowett in May 1838. It contained six demands: universal manhood suffrage, equal electoral districts, vote by ballot, annually elected parliaments, payment of members of parliament, and abolition of the property qualifications for membership. Chartism was the first movement, both working class in character and national in scope, that grew out of the protest against the injustice of the new industrial and political order in Britain. While composed of working class, Chartism was also mobilized around populism as well as clan identity. The movement was born amid the economic depression of 1837-38, when high unemployment and the effects of the Poor Law Amendment Act of 1834 were felt in all parts of Britain. The implementation of liberal regulative state emerging after the Napoleonic Wars involved a number of new departures. The first of these concerned the new machinery of government, which instead of relying on patronage and custom, involved an institutionalized bureaucracy. From 1850s onward, centralized bureaucracy accrued to itself increasing powers. The elite was built upon the idea of public duty, but above all, it was based upon the notion that the state and its bureaucracy could be neutral. Thus, the social history of England included these remarkable features as reflected in its Reforms Act, the French Revolution, and Industrial Revolution. Thank you for watching the video.